Well, hello and welcome to the Informed Traveler Podcast, a weekly travel podcast where our goal is to help you become a more informed traveler. I'm your host, Randy Sharman. So how would you rate your latest customer service experience involving travel? For many, it hasn't been a very good experience at all. So in a few moments, travel expert Onanta Forbes will join us to discuss customer service or lack thereof in the travel industry. Plus, if taking an African safari is on your bucket list, you'll want to have a listen to our chat with the founder of Penwell Safaris, a company that specializes in custom-made African safaris. And Ken Stewart from Crowfoot Travel Solutions will be along to give us a few destination ideas and travel deals with our weekly roundup. But first, let's kick things off chatting with travel expert Onanta Forbes, who joins us each week to discuss some of the travel news and travel trends. You can follow her adventures on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes. OnantaForbes.com is her website. Hi, Onanta.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We got to give credit to Christopher Elliott's newsletter, Elliott Confidential, for bringing light to the subject of bad customer service, or as he says it in the title of his latest newsletter, "Customer Service is a Joke in the Travel Industry." Do you see this as a growing problem, or has it always been there?
I think it's a growing problem, and we're seeing it more since the pandemic. And not only for consumers, but for travel agents too, because we're working with these different travel suppliers, whether they're car, hotel, airline, cruise ships. It's bad out there sometimes. And a lot of it has to do with, when you're dealing with representatives that may just be new in the industry or overwhelmed because there's more demand than there are service people.
Well, I was going to bring that up. Are we too demanding? Like I've seen some of the videos that people post about unruly passengers and just really rude people. So I think there's kind of two sides to this story, right?
There is, absolutely. Because you get to a certain level of what you consider what service is, and consumers, don't have patience anymore. They want instant gratification, satisfaction. They want everything they want right now. So sometimes that's not always possible. So we always say, pack a bit of patience. We all have to learn, right? So no matter who we're dealing with, they might not be in a situation to help you as fully as you want to be helped out. That's why I always say, and I know I'm prejudiced because I am a travel agent, work with a travel agent because they can take the angst out of that for you.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like having a lawyer, right? Someone that's going to argue the facts instead of getting emotionally involved with it, right?
Right. And, working with a travel agent too, they're your advocate. They're also working with preferred travel partners. So they have a relationship with that business partner that they can leverage some of their knowledge and their working relationship of, a number of years have been established. They know that they're a good company that they're offering. That's why, some people, they love the internet and they think they see something from a company that, this is really good. But when you explore it further, like, is it a reputable company? Do they have credibility? Like, if something goes wrong, is there good customer service and resolution? So there's a lot of things that can contribute to bad service. But also, it's important that you know who you're dealing with, that they are reputable, because you don't want your hard-earned money to go down the drain because you don't get the service that you purchase, or it's not up to par, whether it's actually product and service or whether it's taking care of your requests.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, getting back to Christopher Elliott's newsletter, Elliott Confidential, how bad is customer service in travel? So he throws out, the Department of Transportation, and of course, he's U.S. based, but we have our own Transport Canada complaints about the airlines. I think when people think about customer service, top of mind comes the airlines. But having said that, you know what? I haven't really experienced horrible customer service when it comes to the airlines, and I don't know, maybe because I've worked in customer service and that kind of thing, that you sort of know how to complain, who to complain to, and timing is everything and that kind of thing. But car rentals are another one, hotels are another one. But overall, if I was going to complain about customer service, it would be with the cell phone companies and the cable companies.
Yes. Well, travel's such a broad spectrum that, you can get good customer service and bad. And what I like about the evolution of travel is there's a lot of self-serve tools for travelers to use. So like say something goes awry with your airline booking, you can go onto their website, pull up your booking reference, and try and rebook yourself. Sometimes it doesn't work, but a lot of times it does work for you. There are times that you really do need to get a hold of an airline. I like the fact that they now give you callback options instead of waiting hours and hours on hold to
Mm-hmm.
to be acknowledge what it is. But yeah, there are times where it's just upsetting. It's not just you that's involved, it's your family. Nobody wants to sleep on an airport floor for a couple of days before they get going on their next trip. But that's why you get involved with your travel agent, and they'll discuss what the benefits are when you get trip cancellation insurance or a different type of insurance that can help you along your way. Maybe you just don't go with that airline at that time because they can't help you. You book another airline to get you to your destination, and then claim it back on trip cancellation under interruption. So again, yes, customer service can be bad, but I think the self-serve tools are a help. It doesn't help your frustration, absolutely, or you know, you're looking forward to this great trip, and then a strike gets called.
There are some things that you can do, though, right? Like, there's a way to complain, and there's a way not to complain.
If you spark at somebody, everybody's human, right? They might spark back, or being in travel, there's times where you're trying to um, book with a supplier, and sometimes we just get hung up on, and so like you're upset because of that, but you just have to focus on the problem and not the
Yes.
person, right? I think that's a
Yes.
huge thing. And at the end of the day, you'll remember who helps you, like as far as a travel supplier, who helps you and who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. So the next time you book, you may not book with that company because you don't have that sense of faith in them. So that's another way to what you do is like you question your loyalties. Is this the company that you want to work with in the future? Because,
Mm-hmm.
or do you, are you upset, because of the ridiculous fees that are out there or the outrageous prices? Um, you know, Word of mouth, really reflects on a company's reputation, right? So if you don't like it and you tell your friend who tells a friend, that's going to affect them too. So I think at the end of the day that they do realize that business can walk, and it should walk if
Mm-hmm.
you're not happy. I really believe that.
Oh, yes, and me too. The trouble is, especially here in Canada, if you're talking about airlines, we don't have a whole lot of choices. Hotels, there's lots of choice. Car rentals, yeah. Even cruise lines, there's lots of choice, but not so much with the airlines. So you're kind of sometimes stuck with what you got.
Fair comment. Absolutely fair comment. And in Canada, it does sometimes just boil down to a couple of airlines. There are charters, but they don't go throughout the year.
I will say this, when you do get good customer service, it is a really nice surprise.
Absolutely. Or somebody that knows their product or their service and that can talk
Yes.
to you in an informed manner. And then, one of the other things is that they can make a decision. They don't have to escalate it.
Yes, that's the other one too, where you're talking with someone and then they don't have the power to make the change or make the decision. That's another one that's very frustrating. So I think if people maybe lowered their expectations a little bit, and then maybe used honey instead of lemons in their form of complaints, maybe on both sides, customer service just might get a little bit better. We'll see.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you're not having a good conversation, customer service, I always say end the call and start again, because sometimes it's just not going to, with that particular call or that conversation, it just may not go anywhere because both parties are frustrated.
Very true. Yeah. Like just trying to talk to somebody else. That's also good
Yeah.
advice. Always great advice from Onanta Forbes, who is a travel expert. You can follow her on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes, onantaforbes.com. You're going to be traveling next week. Hopefully we can catch up to you in your travels. Where are you going?
I'm going to Portugal. So we're going to spend the first couple of nights in Porto, and then we're going on an Avalon River cruise on the Douro. So it's one of their newest ships, only 102 people on board. We're that two people. And so we're going to be able to explore different ports within that river. And I can't wait to share my adventure with you.
And I'm sure the customer service will be absolutely fabulous, and you'll have glowing reports.
Yes, well, I just read a travel and leisure survey that Avalon was number 2 on the list for river cruises. So looking forward
there,
to it.
there you go. I can't wait to hear it. Talk to you next week, Onanta. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Well, safe to say that on almost everyone's bucket list for travel is an African safari. So joining us now to give you some tips and ideas on planning an African safari is Kathy Harvey. She is the founder of Penwell Safaris, a company specializing in custom-made African safaris. Their website is penwellsafaris.com. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, Randy. You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I love talking about Africa.
I can tell already by your voice that you're very excited and you're very passionate. Give me some background on Penwell Safaris. It looks like I've just been looking on your website, and you do give some background on yourself, that you've been touring around Africa for a long time. So it seems like a natural fit.
It is. So I owned a marketing firm for 35 years, and I started in 1986. And I've always loved animals, just love animals, wildlife, you name it. And so I really wanted to go to Africa. So the movie Out of Africa had just come out, and that inspired me. And so I went my first time in 1993. I went to Kenya and Tanzania. Absolutely fell in love with it and couldn't wait to get back. In fact, I did the same safari 3 times in a row each year, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And so I was lucky enough that my career afforded me the chances to be able to go to Africa time and time and time again. I've been now 30 some times. I've kind of quit counting. I know it's a lot. But, in order to be an African expert on safari, you do need to go a lot. So anyway, I was afforded the chance to be able to go to Africa time and time again. And when I say Africa, it was mostly East Africa. And so my clients would constantly call and say, Kathy, we hear you've been to Africa a bunch of times. We're getting ready to go. Would you look at our itinerary and let us know what we're missing? And I'd look at it and say, no, don't go here, go there, do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then they'd run off and book it with somebody else. So fast forward 35 years, one of the camps that I visit in Africa had called me and they said, Kathy, we want you to do some marketing for us. Would you come up to New York and talk to us? So I did. And they, talked to me about what they were thinking. And I thought, that's a really nice opportunity. Thank you so much. But I'm thinking of selling my company. And when I do, what I'd really like to do are do African safaris and be an agent. And they said, Kathy, you'd be so good at it. You wouldn't believe how many agents have never been to Africa, let alone visit the sites and the camps. So no sooner do I get back to the office, I get a call from one of my clients, again, their wives, and said, hey, we want to go to Africa. And I said, hey, guess what? I'm going to start another business doing that. And you're going to be my guinea pig. So they were. And off they went, had a great time. And then COVID hit. So I had I sold my marketing company right at around when COVID had hit. And so I took a little time off and kind of regrouped. And I thought, I love doing this for people, but I don't like the paperwork. So I brought one of my friends on board, Tracy, who I've known since first grade. And Tracy is a very detail-oriented person. She has to be. She's a producer for a television station. So Tracy said, I would love to do that. Left her job. And so Tracy and I started this back in 2022. And we have been having a great time doing it. So we focus on East Africa. We do a lot of great safaris. All of our safaris are all custom itineraries. We don't do preset dates. We don't do groups unless you want to be with your own group. We take the information that you give us as far as what you'd like to see, what you want to do, budget, and then we arrange safaris based on those. And everybody who's come back has always said to me, and like myself, I can't wait to get back again. It's life-changing.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that, when people talk about bucket list destinations, seems to me that African safaris is always right up there. If it's not number one, it's two or very close, right?
Yeah, but they need to put it at the top of the list. And I tell everybody that. Africa is not going to wait for you. Europe is. Europe and all those cities are all going to still be the same tomorrow. Africa changes every single time I go back. Mm-hmm. It really has. So what I've tried to focus on is to get you away from a lot of the touristy places, where it's not crowded, where you won't have 50 animals on a vehicle. If you have 50 animals on a vehicle, that would be a fun safari.
I'm assuming the animals you're talking about are people.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So you'll find, in some really crowded places, you'll find 50 vehicles on one animal, which I have to walk away and tell the driver, move on. This is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But I don't take people to those areas. So I try to stay in very remote areas where it's not a lot of vehicles. You won't get a lot of people surrounding these animals, harassing them. So the budget safaris are going to get you that. You've got to pay more. You have to have a bigger budget, deeper pockets in order to go to some of these more remote places. And that's kind of what I like to focus on. I don't want to do the groups. You can be in a vehicle. And the reason I say that is because you can be in a vehicle with somebody who wants to look at butterflies and you want to look at lions.
Yeah, right.
You're stuck. And I've been in those situations. I've been through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I have found and taking people to some of the nicest, most pristine places that there are to see in Africa. And some of my favorite things in Africa are the chimpanzees. So a lot of people think chimpanzees, gorillas are going to be up in Uganda, Rwanda, but they're actually down in Tanzania. And there's this wonderful place, which is one of my favorites. And it's over in Western Tanzania, and it's a mountain range called Mahali. And the Mahale Mountains are have some of the oldest researched chimps around. Japanese researchers had been researching them for, probably 40 years or more. And so the chimps are very accustomed to people. It's crazy. You climb up this mountain, and they have people that will help you pull you up the mountain if you need help. And to find these chimpanzees that will get right next to you. Of course, you can't touch them unless they touch you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just a riot to watch. They are so much fun to watch. But that's one of my favorite places, and one of my favorite animals to watch because they're just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
They're so full of emotion, and they're just like us. They're just like us. They could be yakking away and having a grand old time, or some, might be fighting, or, a little baby would be crying for its mother. They're full of, I don't know, just full of excitement.
So what do I need to know if I'm planning a trip to Africa in general, to do a safari in general? What do you usually tell your potential clients or customers?
Well, I talk to them about the different areas first to see what they might be most interested in. So do they want to see gorillas? Do they want to see the primates? Do they want to see the big five? Do they want to get up close and personal with rhinos, which there are areas in Africa where you can actually pet some of the rhinos, which is a conservation area. And these rhinos have been either hurt or abandoned. So anyway, I get information from them as far as what they want to do, what time of year. I tell them, here are the different times of years that are best to go in each country. How much, what is your budget of what you want to spend? What is your style of holidays? Do you want something that is really deep in the bush, that you're in a tent? Or do you want to be in a lodge where it's, maybe 100 people? Or in a camp that has 4 tents?
Mm-hmm.
So I try to get as much information about what they want to do, what they want to see, where, what time of year they want to go. And just gather that information. And then I pull together a couple of different ideas for them to take a look at, and we talk about, and then tweak it from there.
So, like for North American people like us living in North America, it's a long way to go to Africa. So I would think you would want to make it your worthwhile.
Yeah.
So, like, how many days does the average tour run that you would plan for people? You probably, I'm assuming you would say, well, if you're going to do this and you're going to do this, you're going to need a week or 10 days or 2 weeks or something. So what are the average length of stay?
I would say minimum 10 days, minimum. It's it's a little over a 19-hour flight over, and it's about 23 hours on the way back. And you can do a lot. You can get a nice taste and feel for Africa in that amount of time. Now, if you have more time, which I usually love to do, and when I go over personally, I make sure that I'm there for at least 3 weeks, 15 days. But the average person probably can't do that. And so 10 days is perfect. 2 days over, 1 day back. And so that gets you in your 2 weeks.
When does the tour start? As soon as I get off the plane in wherever I'm landing, do you provide all that transportation, and from that moment on, I'm taken care of? You
are taken care of. You've never been so well taken care of in your life. You are met right at the gate. As soon as you come off that plane, there's somebody there to handhold you through the immigration process. They're there to collect your bags with you, take you out to the parking lot and off to your destination for the night. Usually, it starts off in the cities of wherever you're flying to, whether it's Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda. you spend the night in the city, and then the next morning you fly off into the bush to the different destinations of where you're going.
Have you ever been worried about safety? It seems to me that is this question come up a lot to you about the safety issues in Africa?
Yeah, so I have never felt unsafe. I really have not. They're some of the nicest people I've ever met. They're very kind. They're wonderful. Rwanda, a woman could walk down the street 2:00 in the morning by herself and be completely safe. Now, that's not true in every country.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to be careful. You have to be careful anywhere you go, even if you're in the city of your hometown.
This is very true.
You just have to have your smarts about you. Never, don't take pictures of the Maasai unless you ask them. Just like you wouldn't want somebody to take your picture.
Mm-hmm. So what's included in a typical tour? Like what is it, or is, like you say, it's tailored to my personal wants and desires. So whatever I want, I guess I can get. But
everything's included. So your guide, your vehicle, your stay, your food, your booze, your alcohol, everything is included with the exception of what souvenirs you would want to buy and, tips. Some of the food, let me just tell you, you will gain weight on this. You will definitely gain weight because you are never left hungry. You're never left hungry. You always have something there to eat. They always have food in the vehicle for you or snacks. They will pull over at nighttime, when the sun's going down and have a full bar set up for you. And you sit there and you just watch the sun go down. And there's wonderful appetizers. And then when you get back to the camp, there's a lovely bush fire that's going. And everybody sits around this bush fire and talks about the day and has cocktails and hors d'oeuvres right before dinner. But, it's magical just to sit there and look at the stars. And when you look up in the skies of Africa at stars, you've never seen stars like this.
Well, it all sounds amazing.
The Milky Way, you can see so clearly. You mentioned
that. You mentioned sitting with the chimpanzees. Tell me about the coolest experience or your favorite memory that you've had on an African safari. And I'm kind of putting you on the spot, maybe.
You are, because there are just too many. But you're going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but one of my favorite experiences, and that was I was charged by an elephant on foot. I've never been so excited in my whole life. I was so excited. So I was.
Well, obviously, you lived to tell the experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you just have to be smart about it. So I was walking out of my tent and heading up to the main tent, and I was with one of my friends who I travel with. I've been traveling with for the past 26 years, and so she and I are bebopping up this little wooded path, and out of nowhere we heard this, elephant trumpeting and then coming rushing towards us. And there wasn't many trees around us. It was all kind of brush. And so she started to run. I grabbed her by the neck. I was like, no, don't run, stay. And so we just started clapping our hands and saying, go away, go away. And the elephant just stopped, looked at us, and we were looking at him. And I just backed up. And we backed up slowly and walked away. Same camp,
Amazing.
Same year, same place. Susie was outside just sitting there, and I was in taking a nap, and I heard this, Kathy, get out here. Well, I jumped up so fast, Randy, out of my bed, and there's Susie sitting there with this elephant next to her and a trunk, just kind of sniffing her out. I'm like, just stay still. They're not going to do anything. Just stay still. And so the whole family came through and took a look at us and moved on. Yeah, they're just as afraid of you as you are of them.
That's incredible.
And so long as you have your wits about you and you remain calm, you're fine.
Well, I'm sure that's the kind of experience that you want your guests to have.
No, probably
Right,
not.
that kind of, well, maybe not being charged by an elephant, but getting that close and seeing the wildlife and the animals. I'm sure you get a lot of feedback from that.
Yes, yes. It was quite the experience. But I think some of my favorite things that I see in Africa are the river crossing. That's when the migration crosses the Mara River into Kenya. It's amazing. You'll see thousands, 20,000 wildebeest at a time. It could even take all day for them to cross the river. That is truly a sight to see. And just the thinking process of the wildebeest alone, standing there thinking, is it okay to cross? Are there any alligators?
Yes,
Are there any
exactly.
crocodiles in there? And anything will spook them, any little thing. So you could sit there all day and maybe not see a crossing because they'll get scared. You'll think, oh, they're getting ready to go. And then they don't. But then when they do, it's a thunderous sound and just, it's incredible, magical. You just have to experience it I don't think I could describe it at all.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to experience it for yourself, and people can go on your website, penwellsafaris.com, to find out more information and hopefully talk to Kathy about planning an African safari. Kathy Harvey is the founder of Penwell Safaris. Again, the website, penwellsafaris.com. It was so much fun chatting with you, Kathy. We could go on, but people can find out more information on your website. Appreciate you doing this.
Oh, no, thank you, Randy. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
This is the Informed Traveler Podcast. I'm Randy Sharman. Just want to remind you of our website, theinformedtraveler.org. That's where you can find our contact page if you have any questions or comments about the podcast. You can also email me as well with any questions you might have. My email address is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you want to get up-to-date travel info through the week or just see a few amusing travel stories and links, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/informedtraveler, on Instagram at Informed Traveler, or you can follow me on X at Informed Traveler. So now, as always, we'd like to end the show with our weekly roundup, and joining us to do that is Ken Stewart from Crowfoot Travel Solutions. Good day, sir.
Hello, Randy. Hello, everybody. I know some of the people in our neighborhood have got kids kind of going to school, registering or whatever during the upcoming week, and then I think everybody is back in school the week after, so it snuck up on us. It came quick. Hopefully you had a great summer with the whatever time you had off.
The September long weekend is here, and everything goes back to normal. Well, whatever normal is nowadays.
We'll call it regular. How about regular?
Yeah, regular. There you go. Yeah. Most of the schools should be back after the September long weekend. So, yeah, then fall will be here, and then it's time to plan your winter vacation, right?
Exactly. And I know you earn them, and I earn them, and there's lots of people out there who earn Aeroplan points. And just a reminder that any Air Canada vacations booking that has a flight component on it, you're going to earn your air miles on those, whether it's a cruise that they offer, and they have just about all the major cruise lines, the sun destinations we talk a lot about, or one of their really cool packages that we've talked about a lot to Europe, and they've got new ones coming out this fall and early next year to India, Australia, and more. So again, they're really adding to their program. And if you've got a bunch of those Aeroplan points that you want to use and you're not sure what to do with them, well, you can pay for any of your bookings with Air Canada Vacations with those. We can help you do that, but we just need you to convert them on your account into Air Canada gift cards. And then we take those numbers and everything like that. And if we do a package for you with Air Canada Vacations, we can apply as much as you want for Air Canada Vacation booking. So if you got $100 in Aeroplan points, you can apply $100. If you've got $2,000 in Aeroplan points, you can apply $2,000 as much as you want. You can use them all.
Nice.
And,
I like that.
Yeah, and a reminder right now too, Air Canada Vacations till the 31st, so we've got one more week, is offering an extra $200 a person off all group destination packages for the sun and beach. So round up your family and friends, and let's try and get you booked. Again, $200 is a great savings because we don't see much on the land and packages and stuff anymore. So
yeah, and that's per person, right? So
correct, $200 per person.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're doing more and more of those nowadays, and especially when you have a conversation with your clients. And if you've got a large family, and we always talk about between you and your family, we make up a group, no problem. Brothers and sisters a lot of times. And if you're putting grandma and grandpa in there, and then all of a sudden you're up around that 10 people. So ask your friendly travel agent if maybe you should be looking for that group rate. Again, lots of multi-generational family travel. The 10 people is very easy to find, or maybe it's your friends or couples that you wouldn't mind spending some time with. And it can be anything you want. The most popular ones are obviously the beach destination ones. But we can look at trips to Costa Rica, Africa, river cruises, Europe, a boat or bike trip if you've got a bunch of cycling friends. Whatever your likes are, often your group vacation can be built exclusively for you and sometimes for your own specific dates because it's your own group. So
Mm-hmm.
again, make sure you ask your agent if you can qualify for that.
And you can even do the group if people are coming from different
Cities and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah, and we've actually had ones where we've done weddings where we've had we didn't necessarily help with the air, but we included the land pricing and packaging and everything like that for weddings. We've had people that come from Norway, Europe, Australia, all those kinds of places. So again, we can work it out with you.
Cool. Okay.
Did you know that not only having fabulous tours to destinations all around the world, Trafalgar, one of our great partners, includes a Be My Guest experience in every tour. These are really, really cool. So on every tour that they do, you're going to have a dining or an interaction with one of the local families. A couple that they mentioned in the email that came out this week was at Lockhart in the best of Scotland. You have a father and son team behind the Leonard Farm. They welcome you with a home-cooked Scottish meal and some live Kylie music. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Another one they have is Dine with the Senke family in the historic island of Lake Maggiore in Best of Italy. And you learn all about the island's intriguing past over dinner and wine at the family's waterfront home, Villa Toschini as examples. So again, some really cool itineraries in there, and there's one included in just about every tour that they have.
I wonder if
Really
the
neat.
family in Scotland serves haggis.
Well, it's likely to be on there. I mean, they're probably going to have something a little more traditional that might appeal to everybody. But again, I'm sure if you ask, they whip some up for you.
I've never tried it, so I shouldn't knock it, right?
Exactly. Rumors. Think of doing Europe for 2025 as well. Consider looking up options now and start checking it out. Like we talk about the sun destinations, because a lot of the tour operators will offer you your new booking at this year's pricing before the rates increase, because they do all their new contracts coming up here in the fall. So again, if you're thinking of somewhere in there, let's check the supplier, see what they've got. A lot of them have got their pricing loaded, and we'll consider this year's pricing for 2025. Not sailing, sorry, 2025 tour packages.
Nice. Okay.
Golf season is still going strong. I haven't got enough rounds in yet myself. I want to get a few more in, but if you're a fan, Masters 2025 packages are available, so you can catch all the action on Saturday and Sunday to see who walks away with the green jacket. So this includes an executive home for 3 nights, tournament access for the weekend, with hospitality, including open bar and buffet meals, private parking, dedicated support before and during the event. So get your foursome or more of your girlfriends together and let's check this one out. I think that'd be really cool to go watch the Masters.
I think that would be cool too. Even if you're not a huge golf fan, it's an event, and it's one of those cool events that just to take it in would be cool.
Whether you're traveling now or not, make sure you check your passports and other important items or documents. I know my Nexus card is coming up for renewal here this fall. PR cards, if you're a permanent resident, and make sure they're all valid. Often passports need to be valid for a minimum of 6 months after your travel date. So that's your return date for many countries or destinations. And I know I submitted my own passport recently for renewal. Best way to do it is do it before it expires. Lines were not too bad. It was maybe a 60 to 90 minute wait, but then I was there first thing in the morning and found out that they once you're there, they split you up. There's a line for picking up and a line for renewing. So you don't have as long a wait. So I was actually in and out probably in about 20 minutes.
Nice.
And the 10-year passport was $160, and if they mail it out to you. But if you want it quicker, again, I had mine back in 10 days or whatever. It was $180, so a little bit more, and I didn't mind paying that because I wanted it quick.
Yeah, I would rather pick it up too. I wouldn't want to go through the mail, but that's just me.
Who doesn't like free? Each week we get people joining our free travel club, getting all those extra perks and offers, many times in addition to suppliers' best offers. And there's sales that they have in there, so that way you can double dip, as we say, so that you can take advantage of their best sale and what we're offering as well as the official Travel Savers affiliate here in Calgary. So monthly specials, and we've got new ones starting here again in September. So if you're going to book, use that free phone call. You never know what you might gain.
And what is that free phone call number?
In Calgary, 403-241-7140. If you're outside Calgary, you can call us toll-free, 1-877-511-5511. Then you too can relax. It's all taken care of.
Indeed, sir.
Have a great week, everyone.
And that is our show for this week. If you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a show idea, send that along as well. My email is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you like what you heard, tell a friend. You can check out our website too at theinformedtraveler.org. In the meantime, thanks for listening, travel safe, and be an informed traveler.